Yeah, it's ready. It's ready. It's locked.
It's ready. Have you got your money? It's ready. Welcome to the very 11th episode of season 2 of BriightCast.
Yeah, we're close to the end of season 2, guys.
Yes, I can't believe it.
And Drew, you were yawning then? Obviously been working hard.
I'm yawning because creating great content is tiring, Rob. It's tiring.
I hear that.
It's taxing. And it's also tiring watching YouTube and socials dead late at night, which is what I've been doing. Been doing all of it.
Part of your job though, right?
Part of my job, sure. So in the cold blue light of my phone in the middle of the night, I've just been watching loads of really cool YouTube shorts, Instagram reels. And it's got us thinking about just getting back into creating all of our own stuff, which is why last episode we mentioned creating our 30-second tips again. And we're doing a bit more content. Actually, I can't remember if we did mention that, but I thought we did. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. Who knows? I'm sleep deprived.
I think we did.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll roll with that then. And it's just about creating our own content because I see loads of this stuff online, YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels. And it's stuff that we can knock out the park. It has great engagement, but for some reason we never really fully go into it.
Yeah. You can get trapped, can't you? Thinking we've got to allocate time, resources for this, but really we could do it really fast.
You might say it's about prioritizing our marketing efforts, which is a little spoiler for what we're going to talk about in a second. But we're getting on it now, so that's what we've been doing. We've been doing creating loads of great content, and that's all going to be going out soon.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. And I think you were working on the strategy last episode, or you had been, and the distribution for it for our own stuff.
Yeah,
and that's been going out. What else have you been on?
We've been looking at where we want to sort of nail our services and maybe niche into certain markets to sort of make big impacts in sort of the areas we work.
Honing our positioning.
We work for a lot of L&D businesses and allow them to make a huge impact to their marketing and content creation, whether that's for their clients, whether that's for their own internal marketing, internal comms, stuff like that. So we've kind of been looking at our position in sort of the L&D market and where we want to position ourselves.
Yeah, because we can obviously do marketing things for all manner of industries.
Yeah.
But the question of niching and finding your niche always comes up in business. And we just found that we're already in one.
Yeah.
Let's lean into it more.
Yeah.
Because, we're offering a lot of value to those guys and they're doing well from it. So let's roll that out to more and make it, a bit more official on that. That's a real core part of our business.
It was kind of an accidental niche as well because we were doing marketing for businesses for a while without necessarily marketing ourselves as Bright. And there was quite a few recommendation stuff and word of mouth recommendations around which kind of fell into that niche. Yeah. So,
and it was a nice industry to fall in because there's lots of content to be created. Yeah. And as an industry for their own marketing, it's not easy, but you're able to stand out and make an impact on their marketing in their industry. So it's a really good opportunity to be in as well.
Yeah. I think if people are wondering about, how do they find the right niche and is the niche that they're going to try and find the refining their positioning. Yeah. I think just go with the easy, is your niche like quiche? Because like quiche, not everyone likes it. Some people love it. It's not right for every occasion, but in some occasions, maybe like a post-funeral buffet, it's perfect.
So is your niche popular with the over 70s.
Yeah.
Maybe for a little picnic.
Yeah. Again, I don't like it, but it's it's the idea that your niche needs to not be for everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
For your positioning to be honed. Little quiche niche there for you guys.
Good point.
What have you been on?
It was a point. It was a point. Whether or not it was good. But Rob, you say that we never ever ask you what you've been on. So let's go straight into the pod. What's the topic on today?
Are we actually missing Rob out?
I don't want to hear from him. Do you? Jess, I'm clearly kidding. Rob, what have you been on recently?
Well, we could have just missed me out because today I've been thinking a lot about the main topic of the pod, which is about prioritization. We're doing a lot in-house and we're working with people with their own in-house marketing teams. And marketing is such an expansive thing. You can do loads of things in there, and especially with the visual marketing side of it. But it's about prioritization. It was during a meeting we had with a client, and partway through, we were starting to work through this huge list of areas of improvement, optimization. But I knew their resources was just stretched.
Yeah, definitely.
So then it was about, and we'd done it in order of suggestion order, really, of where the most impact would be. And it's just about finding that right way of prioritizing your workload when it comes to your marketing output.
Yeah.
And that's today's topic.
Yeah, I want to start off the topic today by just apologising to the listeners. We've given them nearly 2 seasons worth of tips.
Great tips.
Things for them to look at and prioritise. But realistically, not every business needs to do all of them.
No.
And it needs to be a thing of like, which ones should you do and when?
Yeah.
So just want to say sorry. Sorry for giving you all these great tips.
Yeah. But it's not wasted, because after this episode,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
you'll be able to know which ones you should be paying attention,
Yeah.
what questions to ask when you hear these certain marketing tips, and then be like, yep, that means I got to be doing it.
I also think it wasn't a very good apology.
No.
It didn't seem heartfelt or sincere at all.
Are you thinking, Jess, ukulele, 10 minutes long, never say sorry?
Yeah.
That's the perfect.
That's how it
kind of
felt.
apology.
Let's go.
So let's start with why it's important for people to prioritise, why people can't just do everything all at once and prioritise every single marketing effort ever, and why it's important to sort of have that list of priorities.
Yeah, everything everywhere all at once.
Reason number 1, time is linear.
Yes.
We're mortal. We can't do everything all at once, everywhere, everything all at once,
Yeah.
as you just said.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
It's concentrated effort, isn't it, as well, the benefits of that. But also, spreading yourself too thin, spreading your efforts too thin. If you're trying to be on every social channel and you don't need to be, would it be better spent, focusing on, if you're B2B, on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Or even if you're testing against it and you want to zig when others zag, you're diving into TikTok. Is it better to put all your efforts there, or split them between those two, or just everywhere?
The main thing for me is to sort of have that list of priorities and have that list of where people want to dominate and why.
Yeah.
And make sure you're sort of nailing your strategy in those things.
Yeah.
Say if that is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Are you appearing where you need to be? Are you having the right size audience that you need to get the number of leads that you need? Are you converting properly? Is the content you're posting great? Are all of these things being checked off before you then go, oh, I'm going to start posting on TikTok, which is a completely different platform, needs a completely different strategy, different content. You can't even compare the two, really. To then be like, oh, actually, I'm going to spread 50-50 my efforts, where that thing that should have your priority isn't performing that well.
Yeah.
To then, like you say, spread yourself too thin and nothing's working.
Yeah.
You're not reaching any of the marketing goals. You're not getting any of the right leads. You're just kind of building awareness pockets on these platforms.
I think fundamentally, if you're going to social channels, it's asking, do my personas use that channel?
Yeah.
Really? And it might be that they use all of them and all of them a lot. And in that case, you have to allocate the right amount of resources, or try and come up with, I guess, clusters of content. So something that would work on TikTok would probably work on YouTube Shorts, probably work on Reels, but probably not Twitter or Threads.
Or X,
or
as
X.
it's now being, it's now is. But I think that is also a good point when we mentioned Threads and X. Like, there's so many new social platforms that are being introduced. Lemon 8 being one of them that never properly took off.
Yeah.
And business owners probably listening to this are probably telling their marketing teams, oh, we need to be on that new platform. We need to be on TikTok. We need to be on Threads. We need to be on all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a team of 2. And they're sort of already like buried in the workload where it's like, we need to post on LinkedIn every day and Instagram. We need to create all this content. The website needs to be up to date. We're writing blogs. To then be like, add this new platform in. You're either going to regurgitate content across, which isn't necessarily right and isn't tailored to each platform.
Yeah.
Or it's kind of, you put in 5% here, 5% there. So none of it's working.
Yeah.
So it's kind of looking at, do I need to be on that platform? Do I need to be on it straight away? Can I see what industry leaders are doing on it and see how we can then utilize it?
Yeah.
Do we need to be on it long term? Is it something we can dive into now, see if it works, and then come off if it doesn't? But sort of looking at things, and don't just jump in because it's this new shiny new platform, and yeah, we need to be on it.
You questioned it with Threads, didn't you? I posted a few things on Threads, and you was like, "We're on Threads. Why?"
Yeah, I just want us to dominate certain platforms, and I think we, like with prioritization, you have to prioritize your own stuff.
Yeah.
If you're a marketing company, your own stuff with your client stuff.
Yeah.
Recently, we've prioritized a lot of our client stuff. We're currently trying to prioritize a bit more of our own stuff. We're not prioritized, but put an emphasis on it.
Yeah, yeah.
So at that point, we want to try and dominate a few platforms.
Yeah.
We don't want to do this big spread betting type of way of working, do we?
No. And then I think there's, outside of social, there's loads of other marketing you can do, but you need to start early to set up those things. I'm thinking basically newsletters.
Yeah.
But you need to have been gathering data to build up a newsletter database.
Yeah.
And if you haven't, you probably need to start now. Because I think it's going to be first-party data. It's really good anyway because it's your data.
Yeah.
But also, who knows what's going to happen with Google's cookies thing and reaching
that
out like
also
that.
like Twitter. Like if you're using Twitter as one of your main platforms currently,
Yeah.
they're rebranding, they're adjusting policies, their algorithm. Basically, if you're using Twitter as your number one platform, there probably is a little bit of worry in you right now, thinking where's it going to go, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then if it's also not even just Twitter, like if you're putting emphasis on any platform, you don't own any of that data.
Yeah.
So if LinkedIn got deleted tomorrow, what are you going to do? Like you haven't got any any data of your own that you can market to.
It's prioritization, but also that doesn't mean all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah,
does it?
yeah, definitely. That's obviously talking about like platforms and like marketing methods. What about like content? It's not a new trend obviously, but everyone wants video. Everyone thinks they need video and wants any type of video to post, but it's sort of a prioritization on what video they should also have, right? Like, it needs to be. Drew had a conversation with a client a few weeks ago. I think, and it was they didn't really know what video they wanted. They just said create a promo video, we have a few clients that come to us and go, "We need a video, create it," and it's kind of going into those deeper questions of like why you want it, where's it going, what messaging do you want to deliver. Is it an awareness piece or is it a conversion piece? Like where's it going and what you're doing with it? Those are the sort of the key questions you need to be asking yourself.
The best case scenario of that is they come to you because they've asked why, what, and where, right?
Yeah.
But quite often it's not, and we've got to ask that.
Ideally, they're not just after a single video.
Yeah.
Because if they're after a single video, it's quite difficult sometimes to prioritize what type of video that might be, because like every business, they're going to have several different aims.
Yeah.
Like you were just alluding to with like which stage of a funnel is it?
Yeah.
It could be the same campaign, but there's going to be different stages of a funnel and they might need different types of video for
definitely,
it. In a great world for them, they can get this one piece of cornerstone content.
Yeah.
And then from that, mine lots of other content that could be used in those different stages.
Yeah.
But it's not always the case. So ideally, it's just like sitting down with them and then prioritizing which bits they'll need first.
Yeah.
Which bits will work best for them right now when their budget is, only so high, let's say, but they're expecting to get a certain part way through a campaign and then get more budget. In fact, we had a client recently who they wanted like several L&D videos, but they didn't have the budget to get every single one created. So we shot them all, but we didn't have the budget to have them all edited.
Yeah.
And we're going to revisit that with them in like a month and then create the rest of the content because they've prioritized certain content to go first to help them get some sales. And then...
Yeah. We had it with an event that we recorded as well. We haven't got the budget for everything we want to do in post yet, but let's get it recorded. Let's get it banked. And then when the money comes in, 3 months to 6 months to 6 years down the line, we've got it ready to go.
Yeah, it's ready. It's ready. It's locked.
It's ready. Have you got your money? It's ready.
You serious?
Premiere Pro is open and ready to go.
I think money, like budget and time resources are two of the main factors, or not factors, reasons people should be prioritizing.
I think there's a skill level as well. So lots of the in-house things and where this topic came about was we had loads of advice because we do some Google Ads consultancy for them. but they couldn't really implement beyond the basics in-house. And it's about understanding your limitations there.
I was going to say that's the thing of like, if you have a smaller budget, what can you do in-house, and what do you have to bring that expertise in for?
I think trying to take it back to video for a second though, we did have a client recently who we did lots of branding for them, lots of brand refresh, giving them a fresh vibe, creating loads of new marketing assets for them, kind of steering them in the right direction. But then they prioritized a lot of their own video content that they were creating themselves, which was fine, absolutely fine. The way they were doing it, like, wasn't an issue. They were creating the content, but it's just the fact that they were prioritizing that over trying to convert leads and trying to convert inquirers. So because of that, there was like a negative impact because they were prioritizing video content that was really only for their own kind of echo chamber. Wasn't really creating them, wasn't really generating inquirers. Whereas the marketing efforts we were putting in were generating inquiries, but then there was no one there to kind of like close them.
We've had it with a few clients where they come to us and they do want an all-encompassing like marketing campaign. They want the strategy. They want all of the deliverables, but they're very much, we want to be everywhere, everything everywhere all at once. It's like a thing of they want to be on every platform, posting every type of content, doing ads, Bing ads, LinkedIn ads, like various different things, email newsletter. They want a new website. And we kind of have to reel them back, as great as that is, much as they want to experiment with things, putting your efforts everywhere and being a bit scattershot with content and where you're going to be posting and when, it's just not performing that good. Like, and I know it is that thing of people's competitors being everywhere, but when they have £1 million a month to be spending on their marketing, or even less, say if it's even 10 grand a month spending on their marketing, they can afford to be everywhere. Whereas if you've got, say, a couple of £1,000s or even hundreds of pounds, you have to then be like prioritizing that budget, especially with things like ads. There's minimum budgets you can be spending on things. Yes, you could put £100 into Google ads, but you aren't going to get the ROI of a company that's spending £10,000 on ads. So it's kind of looking, is ads right for you? Is that the right platform? And
a bit of experimentation as well. Like if you've invested a lot of time or money into lots of social campaigns and management, what does it look like if you took that money and put it all on Google Ads, or vice versa? Or what if you invested heavily in your newsletter marketing, automation, redesign, everything like that?
I personally think when you're a marketing agency, it's easier to work with an in-house marketing team. And that isn't necessarily saying that an in-house marketing team is doing everything. I think it's more about someone who is your contact within that agency. And a lot of the businesses we work with that have an in-house marketing team, they don't necessarily do much of the marketing. They're more looking at like the next campaign, what KPIs they need to be hitting, like return on ad spend, return on marketing spend. They're kind of managing their marketing.
But even just like the sort of PA side of it, where, you know, if they're having research papers written or people contributing, they're doing the chasing down of that, because to build that would be, you know.
Like that for an ebook, for example, they need the content before they can then produce the ebook. So I guess a lot of them are those, but then there's also some that we work with where they do try and take some of it in-house. And I guess that is the point that you were sort of raising, Rob, where it's, do they need those additional people in-house? Are they sort of creating that prioritization where it's not needed sometimes?
Like a self-imposed barrier almost.
I guess like, so what we've been speaking about so far is basically if you're a small team, you're going to need to prioritize your efforts.
You probably don't have the time or the budget.
That's all the things you mentioned, all the different platforms, all the different spread of content, etc. All of that mean that you're going to have to prioritize what you do. But you also have to ask yourself, do you need to live like that? Like, do you need to be prioritizing this stuff? Could you outsource it to an external marketing company? You know, could you find another team who can sort everything for you, and it just minimizes the amount of prioritization you need? Because prioritization can be a great thing because it can make you focused. It can make you like try and dominate those certain platforms. But at the same time, it is a limitation in some ways if you're having to prioritize things. If you can't do everything you want to do or you need to do to achieve, like, you know, max campaign success. So in that case, Why are you prioritizing stuff? Why don't you just outsource stuff to another company?
Some of the companies we use, everyone could clean their own office space, but it's not worth their time because they're busy doing the actual, the stuff they're good at and doing that.
It's also even just using the cleaning example. Like, there's a stain in the carpet. So it's a tough stain. None of us can get it out. We're going to spend...
What did you do to the carpet? I think you're going to have to clean it. We're not bringing a cleaner in.
If you think you can bring this up during a pod because you're going to have some kind of pod immunity or something, that's crazy.
There's a stain on the carpet. But none of us know how to clean it. It's going to take us half an hour to figure out what we can do. Go and buy baking soda or something to try that.
What's baking soda?
You don't know what baking soda is?
Do you not clean?
Do you not clean at home?
Bacon, like a pig.
Like a pig?
Baking.
Okay.
But there's various different things you could research and go and buy and try. That's probably taking half your day just to clean this. Whereas the cleaner, they're knowing exactly what product to put down there.
Yeah.
It's the same with marketing. Anyone can set up a Google ad account. Doesn't mean it's going to work. Doesn't mean it's going to perform right. You're probably just going to chuck thousands of pounds down the drain.
Yeah.
You could spend 6 months to a year learning the absolute basics of Google Ads. Never mind the years additional to that Google Ad specialists have spent really honing their skills. And then it's still not worked quite right because you're not a specialist in that.
You also don't get the same resources, do you? So an agency's got agency tools that they pay loads of money for, but it's only effective if they're doing it for 20 clients. You're not going to do it just for you or grant your marketing team that spend.
Yeah.
Look at video content as well.
Yeah.
We can go in, create a video campaign for someone, and we're already taking minimum 50 grand's worth of equipment in. So before you even start to get this similar level of quality, even without the experience, it's just that level of investment as well.
Yeah, I think there's always this and we've not created this episode of a pod to fully segue into telling every listener that actually you shouldn't be doing any marketing yourselves. You should just be hiring us. That's not what we're doing.
No.
If that's for byproduct, fine, go for it, guys. Hire us.
Try it.
I
dare you.
Yeah, I think whenever we speak about this, and I'm using the royal way because I'm talking about all marketing, all creative companies, we always say stuff like, yeah, of course, you could go out and you could buy this camera, or you can go and get this software, and if you put all this time in, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. I want to just take it even further and just say, no, you can't. You can't do it. We always say, everyone always says it to be nice, to try and make it seem like not elitist, or to try and make it seem like you could do this. We're not saying you can't do this. You're not saying you don't have these skills. I'm saying 99% of people can't do it.
Yeah.
Because we do see a lot of people who they can do it, and the stuff they do is nowhere near as good as for professionals. And again, I'm not talking about just us. I'm talking about every marketing, every creative agency out there, every good marketing creative agency.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You can't recreate it. If you can, it's going to take you a decade to do it. It's going to take you 5 years. It's going to take you a lot of time. You can't do it.
Don't want to obviously make it so you can't do anything, but it's that thing of anyone can do anything. Anyone could go out tomorrow and be like, I'm going to be an electrician. I'm going to learn how to be an electrician.
Yeah, I just want to say, I've been cooking for years, okay? And I think every time I make a really good meal, I did a good roast yesterday. Every time I do it, I'm like, I'm amazing at cooking. And then I watch MasterChef, and these people are just like me in the sense that they have other day jobs, but they also enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
And the stuff they make massively blows my air fryer roasters out the water. Okay. So I'm not saying it as if I'm some elitist. I get it. I'm the exact same. I will constantly think I can do these things, but I can't.
Yeah.
And that is what happens with a lot of marketing people not marketing people, a lot of companies who hire in a single marketing person to try and compete with marketing companies. Yeah. A single creative person to try and compete with creative companies.
Yeah.
They're outgunned. Do you know what I mean? They're outgunned experience-wise, people-wise, everything-wise,
I've said it before that some of my favourite clients are those that have tried it themselves. Because immediately they know that whatever you say, you're the expert.
Yeah.
Because they've tried it, they definitely can't do it. And
Yeah, and I think it's just, so bringing it back to the prioritization thing, it's just, do you have to prioritize this stuff? I think just ask yourself this question, do you have to prioritize this stuff? What's stopping you? I get it, you've got a marketing person, and it is great working with people who have that marketing experience in companies, because there's that common language, there's always common, there's a commonality that you're kind of
they can ask the right
with.
questions. They can, from their end, make sure that the marketing thing's being tracked through their sales process so it can be attributed and you know what's working. Yeah, all that good stuff.
But it's just, do you have to prioritize everything you're thinking you have to prioritize? And are those prioritizations like causing like a drag? Are you not hitting your KPIs as quickly as you could? Are you not hitting them at all? Yeah. What's stopping you? If you don't have to prioritize, but for some reason you are, just think about hiring. It could even be hiring more marketing people yourself, like expanding your team potentially.
Yeah.
But just look at hiring external marketing teams, external creatives, because that's the whole reason they exist. It's to empower teams so they don't have to, so your team doesn't have to prioritize stuff because the marketing teams will do it for you.
Yeah. And let's say there's a company like that with a couple of people in place. They definitely don't have the budget for, you know, bringing in external video teams, for example. What can you do to help them understand their priority layout?
So I'd start with looking at your target audience.
Yeah.
That's basically the first thing you need to be looking at. Where are your target audience and where could they be?
Yeah.
If you're strictly B2B doing leadership development, TikTok is probably not one of the first things on, or Snapchat's not one of the first things on your priority list.
Yeah.
Very low down at the bottom.
Yeah.
If you're...
it should all be in your strategy plan.
Yeah.
You know, your marketing strategy, your marketing plan, you should have this nailed. Yeah.
And then have that priority order and have that as kind of a list where once I dominate this, we can then probably look into we can then dabble into this.
It's a roadmap, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, create a Gantt chart of what you want to achieve and when. And I think just overlay your customer journey on that so you can see, you know, what do we need to do to drive this awareness?
Yeah.
Then they're on the site. What do we need to do? What do we need to do to remarket?
Yeah, it's looking at that funnel, And then I'd look at your marketing goals. So what are those top level marketing goals that you laid out in your strategy?
Yeah.
What are the directors of the company looking for? What return on marketing spend are you looking for? Is it more leads? Yeah. Where are you getting these from? If in the past, look at your data and say, well, we've never had any leads from Twitter, but that's the platform we put most time into.
Yeah.
Why are you putting time into that? Like dominate on LinkedIn if that's where, or Instagram if that's sort of where you're getting the most leads from.
Yeah.
Sort of how do your goals align to your priority list? Is it right currently? Yeah. That kind of leads into sort of the ROI analysis. So looking at sort of the data, you need to be very data driven when it comes to prioritization.
Yeah.
It is that thing of there probably is 10 platforms you should be on or 10 marketing things that you should be doing, but you only have time to do 3.
You need to hypothesize everything. So if you're bringing in a video team, for example, write the hypothesis of why, where you're going to put it, what you're expecting or hoping to achieve, and then you can measure its success. And then if it's not a success, get rid of it.
Yeah.
If it outperforms your self-shot rubbish videos, keep it, you know. Get that return on ad spend if.
Also look at competitors, and it's not necessarily copying what they're doing and following where they are, but it's looking at where they aren't, like where is there gaps in the market. And we're very strong advocates of testing, and prioritization doesn't mean you're not testing. You should be having a priority of say 90%, but that extra 10%, leave that room for testing.
Yeah.
Yes, it should still be a priority of testing. There should be a list of things that you want to be testing first, and that should be at the bottom of the list that you don't think is going to work or isn't right for the business. But having those things of where there's a gap in the market and you could expand your business. It was kind of, we were talking about some video content earlier, and one of the team says, we shouldn't be posting it on this platform because that's not the type of content that goes out on there.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like, well, why isn't it out on there? Is there a gap in the market? We're already creating this content for this platform.
Yeah.
Let's post it on here. Let's test it. Let's see if there's room for us to expand our offering or the type of videos that we're posting or the content that we're offering. Test it. Like if there's room for it, test it. And then the other thing is scalability. So having a lack of time resource or monetary resource, there's always going to be peaks and troughs in sort of money. We see it with our clients. There'll be times where they want to drop ad spend where they're quieter, maybe in the summer or over Christmas.
Got seasonal stuff. Yeah,
so it's kind of scalability where, for example, Google Ads, if it's working in their sort of busier months, they could be dropping 50% more spend during those months and then dropping it. Is there sort of, if it's working, can you scale? Is it something that's kind of, you've hit a wall almost, you can't really get any bigger or get any more use from that platform. So I think they're sort of the key elements decision makers or people within marketing need to be looking at when making priorities. But do you guys have any other tips that you want to give to people, some advice?
Just to reiterate, I think it's just asking why for platforms, for any marketing output, just asking why, aligning it with persona, understanding what internal resources you have, understanding the benefits of external ones, and build things in an experimental way where you can test an attribute and make sure it's working. If
you're currently spreading yourself too thin and you can probably feel it, there's no harm in stepping back and cutting the platforms you're on by 50%.
No, it's looking at the data. What's currently working.
You need to dominate, or at least like tweak and optimize and be super sure on the platforms you're on before you're then being like, oh, well, then try this platform.
It's just every single part of it is just asking why, isn't it? So like it's why do you need to be on all these platforms? Why do you need all this different content to go out on all these platforms? Why are you prioritizing in the first place? It's just figuring all of that out. If you can figure all of that out, you're gonna be better placed to prioritize things better.
Why are we pulling traffic from this source? Why are we not converting it at this stage? Why are they not moving to this part of the funnel?
And just be willing to, whatever priorities you're putting in place today, just be willing to bin all of those next week when you get extra data. Like you were saying earlier, it's got to be data driven.
Nice.
And I take back my apology. After all these tips, they can prioritize the ones we've given them.
And I've got plenty more to say on the subject, but we're shooting over lunchtime now. My stomach's rumbling.
You've got to prioritise what you say.
I'm going to prioritise getting this done so I can get out and feed my body.
Yeah, those priorities sound bang on, because my tummy is rumbling.
But we've also got to prioritise saying to the viewers, listeners, like, subscribe, comment, spread the word.
Write down your favourite priority in life.
And
comment
and get number in the top 3. Get promoting this podcast in there.
Or if you want other like just generic comment like requests, comment which way you spell prioritize. Is it with a Z or an S? We'd love to find out in the comments.
And if you chat GPT, it's with a Z.
Bye, Dar.